we've been out there talking.
Obviously 64's been
Yeah.
a lot of stuff and go, but it was clear this morning.
Yeah.
Traffic, the last 2 days have been, like
Good.
it was still spring break,
Don't
like
get all-
there's nothing that is working.
Got to go back.
I guess so. On YouTube.
Trying to get that live stream.
Get our meeting going. All right, I think we're live now. Looks like we're in a delay.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, it's, yeah. Alright, cool, we're good.
Where's Brian at? There he is.
Hey, Brian.
All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. This is the April 14th KIPTA Regional Planning Council meeting. And we have 5 counties represented, and therefore we have a quorum. We'll do council member roll call. And I don't see Ashley.
Oh, yeah.
So
Shoot, let me, get it pulled up here.
Brian, you want to do the roll call?
No, we're good. I forgot that Ashley is, not coming to these meetings anymore.
I know we have a quorum, but let's go ahead and at least be official and do a roll call.
We had our Ryan here, gonna be 3 Ryans.
Yeah.
We're all over.
I know, I wrote Ryan L and then Ryan L.
Alright, so, yeah, for, roll call here, this is 2026. I believe we just haven't updated that. Fulton County Honorable Jerry Summers. Charlie Spalding.
Yeah, the judge and Charlie won't be here, but
Yep, Keith, got you here.
I'm a parent won't be here.
Honorable Scott Bates. We've got Mr. Jason Stanley and Mr. Mike Ray here. Jefferson County, Mr. Brian Davis,
Good morning.
Mr. Tony Parrott, and Mr. Mike King. Oldham County, Honorable David Vogel, Ryan Fisher, Ms. Anna Barge. Actually, Shelby County, Mr. Honorable Dan Ison, Mr. Ryan Lidke,
Here,
Mr. Lawrence Blackaby. Spencer County, Honorable Scott Travis. This will need to be updated. This will be Miss Ashley Welch instead of Miss Julie Sweezy. Trimble County, Honorable John Ogburn. And Mayor Joe Robinson.
all right, thank you, Ryan. As I stated, we have a quorum, we have 5 counties represented. So therefore, we can move on with our action items, and the next item is our minutes from the January 13th meeting. You should have received those in the invite and had a chance to look at those. Is there any comments or concerns in regards to those minutes? If there are none, then we'll accept a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Ray. We have a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Second by Ms. Anna. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. The minutes are approved. Our next item is our regional. Actually, before I go on any further, on the next item, I just wanna, you had brought up Miss Julie Sweezy. For those that don't know, Julie passed away
Couple weeks
a couple
ago.
weeks ago. I'm not sure what I think she had some illness or something.
It was very unexpected.
Oh, okay, so, that was, shocking to all of us, and want to just send our condolences to her family and the community down there in Spencer County.
And also, Judge Travis lost his son too last weekend,
Oh, wow,
so.
so
He
yeah,
was 31.
we've had some, not good news recently, and just wanted to bring that up, especially with Julie being a member of this, council and being a longtime, zoning administrator for Spencer County. And like I said, I want to send those condolences out to the family and the community. With that said, let's go on to other business and talk about the Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan for 2026.
Yes, so this year I have been working on updating our regional hazard mitigation plan. Our last update was in 2021. And just so that our region can remain eligible to receive that FEMA funding, HMGP, FMA, the newly announced BRIC funding, building resilient infrastructures and communities. We will need to get that update completed. I'm aiming to submit that in probably late August or September to give FEMA time to complete their review, as our previous 2021 plan will lapse in late January of 2027. I believe it's January 27th or something like that. So with that said, I wanted to use this council, being that we have this forum, to kind of have a discussion with you all, sort of on the planning side about some of what was in the 2021 update. So these large and relatively hard to read packets in front of you are all of the action items. And actually, Brian, let me share my screen here with you so I can pull up the spreadsheet for you. I know Jefferson County is not in KIPTA's regional hazard mitigation plan, technically, but might be of interest to you as well. Is that up on your screen? Okay, good deal. And I'll try to kind of follow along with if as we discuss some of these items, so you can sort of stay with us on here. But yeah, so the main thing that I think I would like to use this regional planning council meeting for would be to get some feedback and maybe some updates and some additional mitigation action items, or even specific projects that you all might have that you would want included in the hazard mitigation plan update for 2026. That's going to be kind of the bulk of what my update to this plan is going to entail. Since that 2021 update, KIPTA has conducted a couple of relevant studies for that. I've done both a regional water and wastewater management plan, as well as a 2024 BRIC study, which we updated a lot of our critical facilities and looked at a lot of our energy infrastructure. And I know usually the emergency managers are kind of the main integral part of updating this plan, but also kind of in the interest of looking at some more like long-term planning actions that you all might have in mind, just to kind of get a more holistic picture and maybe get some other projects in line for the 2026 plan. I thought it would be good to discuss that, as well as to include if you all have done any sort of local hazard mitigation planning or plans specific to your communities. Those would be other good things to mention in the hazard mitigation plan update at the regional level. So I guess, and I can share out this spreadsheet electronically with you all afterwards, because I know this is kind of a lot to read through. But I guess kind of just jumping in off the top, is there anybody that kind of has any specific items or plans or things that they notice that is in these mitigation action items that you would like to discuss or talk about or include in the 2026 plan?
Now that Scott is here, maybe we can, sorry. One of
Can
the
you say
things-
that all again?
Yeah. Back over.
Your second item, I think Scott may have something on that. Backup generators and access for capacity within critical facilities. I don't know if Scott has something to talk to there, or maybe.
We're going over the action items on the current hazard mitigation plan because we are doing a rewrite this year of it. In order for our communities, you have to have this plan adopted in order to get reimbursement from FEMA and what.
Okay, so on the generators, is there any way we can get anything for like, Pleasantville Fire Department? Don't have any backup other than Pleasantville itself owns a generator and they'll let them use it as long as their power don't go out, well,
They're on the
they're,
side.
they're
Yeah.
right there together. Oh. The only other thing that I'm gonna push forward is we've got a new church. And it's got, bathrooms as far as men and women's bathrooms, and then we've got 2 offices, it's got bathrooms with showers and everything. So I would like to see if we could do something to get a generator for that, make that a storm shelter, because the church has agreed to that. I think it would be great, it's right there in Emmons, and it's 12,000 square foot building.
Is this a facility that you all currently use as a storm shelter, or you're looking to?
We
build
have,
that?
because we just, the church is 2 years old,
Mhm.
it's how.
You haven't had a need for it.
Yes, that's right,
Okay, gotcha.
but it's one of them that I think that would need to go on that list. I've kind of hesitated because I'm a senior board member on that at the church, and I don't wanna look like we're trying to be, get something extra for us, but to me, it's a community thing.
The county does not have a current storm shelter, do they?
Only thing we got is the 4-H bill.
But it doesn't meet all, it doesn't have
It-
showers.
It don't,
Okay,
So they have to bring portable stuff to make it official
Oh,
because.
yeah.
So that was one of our big things is showers.
Mhm.
That's one of the things that's recommended or mandatory to be
Mhm.
official one.
where our church does. Got 2 separate bathrooms with shower.
and what Brian can do is, this is great, if you have projects like that, then he can make sure that they're in the portal, that when funding is available, we will know exactly which angle to go for and what's a higher priority.
Yeah, and we can put a project like that, I can add it as, a project for the 2026 hazard mitigation plan, which generally makes things go a little bit quicker as well, yeah. so-
We talked about portable generators too, that where we could.
I mean, well,
The problem with this. We got the 400. Tank. So, I mean, portable, you gonna have to get big to get,
Well, I'm not talking about your church, I'm
Yeah.
talking about for other,
yes.
to be able to move it, say you have a tornado and it only hits, I'm making this up, Campbellsburg.
Mhm.
You can pull the generator over there as needed, and then if it happens in Lockport,
That was more the water company was wanting that, just because
pump station.
Yeah.
they can move them from pump station to pump station.
Mhm.
Holden County, the drain utilities, I know they got it,
Mhm.
where they move them around, because they brought them to
Does
Henry
Henry
County.
County not have portable generators?
But, yeah, I don't know if you all do, because I've been, Justin and I have also been doing our, system visits, going around to all of our water wastewater utilities, and I've been bringing this data with me to those to go over with our, system operators, and I think.
Yeah, he's in the works of getting a big generator for the plant at
Mhm.
in Trimble County. But even at that, you still gotta be able to pump. They gotta move, cause they got pump stations, you gotta be able to pump at them pump stations sometime,
Mhm.
especially the sewer plants.
And I think we talked to Keith about that, when I did the brick study in 2024. Cause I know he had some specific generator needs for some of his facilities, but yeah, I can circle back with him. I think I'm seeing him later this week, and I can get some more details if he needs something
Yeah.
else outside of that.
I guess we'll have a meeting here, I don't know if Keith will be here, but
Oh, this afternoon,
here.
yeah. Mhm. Yeah, I don't know if he will be either, but yeah, regardless, if he's not, I can circle back with him later this week, cause I know. Generators were one of the things that pretty much every one of our communities had in the 2021 plan listed as a high priority, and thankfully now. The FEMA just released the brick, NOFO, which generators are an eligible, expense for that grant funding. So there's actually some funding that could kind of potentially go towards meeting some of those needs now. I don't think there was at the time of the last hazard mitigation plan, but yeah, now it's something that we can actually look into to applying for, so.
When it comes to generators, is there any funding also for the maintenance of those generators?
That I don't know, yeah, cause I know you have to,
To like load testing and all that?
yeah, I can look into that as well.
And as part of this, like, are there, generators like at all of our PSAPs, like in our counties? And I don't know how they work here in Kentucky versus Texas, but when I worked for like the equivalent of KIPA in Texas, the state of Texas had funding through whatever the 911 system was to pay for generators and pay for generator testing. Obviously, this is a different state, but in maintenance. And so like we as the equivalent of KIPA got that funding, like kind of like pass through funding, and but like we had the maintenance contracts on the generators, because like obviously you need the generators, but if they're not maintained, and a lot of counties have very limited funding to maintain those, then you know, when disaster strikes, it might not work. So that's another component.
Yeah,
And I did email this to our emergency management director, and he did say like backup power was like one of the top priorities. And flood protection for infrastructure, being on the river especially.
I think, yeah, looking through the data, it looked like either moving critical facilities out of flood prone areas or backup generators were kind of like the two universal things that pretty much everybody had on there. As like the highest priority. So yeah, I can look into funding for maintenance though, because I know other folks have brought that up to me. Cause yeah, it's like if you're gonna get funding for a massive generator that you can't pay to maintain, then it's kind of like a moot point.
Yeah, and then we had a specific project that he brought up, so we have in LaGrange, or not quite in the city limits, but kind of near I-71, Crystal Lake subdivision. They have a dam that's like one of the largest dams in the county, like at the lake, and they have an emergency action plan in place if the dam fails or is at risk of failing. And then a complete failure of this dam would result in the closure of I-71 northbound. And the neighborhood currently only has one way in and one way out, which is the road over the dam. And the neighborhood has been working to build a secondary exit or road at the opposite end of the for emergency use, but they lack funding. So that's something kind of project that we would need
Okay.
funding for.
So that was Crystal Lake subdivision?
Yes.
Okay,
So it's just south of I-71, like in LaGrange, like LaGrange kind of goes over both sides of 71, just like right here.
okay,
Right here.
okay, gotcha. Yeah, I can look into that as well.
They're called Wendy's and all that in there.
Exactly. Beautiful lake, but you know, not good when, if disaster happens.
Yeah,
And then he actually joined us, Zach. Zach, do you have anything else to add?
oh, yes.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
No, you pretty much nailed everything that I had sent you. All the PSAPs, we do have generators out here for our PSAP. We've had them for quite some time. We do county fund them. They're annual, or I'm sorry, they're tested monthly, complete. As a backup, they'll kick on automatically, and then once every 6 months, it's a complete load for numerous hours. We already have a thing. So I mean, as far as funding for generators, we do need generators probably on some other infrastructure out here, but the PSAP, we're connected directly to the main gas line, which I think is a Texas gas line under us. So we have unlimited supply, which this was way before my time, so I'm very glad they did it this way. But the Crystal Lake Dam, they did have studies. I think there was some legislation some couple years ago. As soon as I got started, the neighborhood HOA president had reached out, wanted to discuss that dam. I forget the gallons. I think there's quite a bit of gallons in that Crystal Lake, and they said if the dam would fail, which it would result in either a short to long-term closure of 71, northbound, potentially southbound. So they actually have a very detailed, educated plan for that failure. They've been roped in our LaGrange Fire Department, myself, as far as notification processes, things like that. So they're actually on top of it now. They wanted to use this plan to help justify funding. They have tried with HOA fees, some grants out there to fund a secondary exit. They wanted to do it as just literally just a gravel exit. So if the dam does fail, there's probably about 500 plus homes back there, that these people have a way to get out and help has a way to get in. That's their biggest concern, is mostly help coming in to help them. If that dam failed, if it flooded, that's the only way in. So that's unfortunate for them. And they've been working on it since I've been in office at this position, and they can't do it. Every year they look into it. But she's pretty much nailed everything that what I've said about the each line item here. Generators are always good to have as far as backup power. As mitigation, these generators, I'm sure a lot of you have seen the prices. They are not cheap. We do have one generator on one county shelter. We do have another shelter that's potentially going to be built down in our Ballardsville area, and the funding for it, I mean, you're talking probably 50,000 for one generator to power that building. The unfortunate, we can't afford that. That's just plain and simple. There's no way we can afford that generator. We'd like to see if there's some opportunities for funding to help us put a generator on our next county shelter. If the power goes out there, I mean, we kind of lose a leg, right, of infrastructure right there that we're trying to protect. It's a place for people to go, but as soon as we lose power, I mean, it's going to be kind of knocked off. So things like that, we're always looking for. These generators are going to be a huge help. We're trying to work up MOUs and contracts, but if we can have a more long-term solution, yeah, that's something that I would love to have a discussion with.
And to Crystal Lake again, they're a very organized community, like
Yes.
as far as like they would, and their HOA president would be like more than willing to put in the work that needs for any of this process. I mean, not to speak for him, but like he is a very active member of the community and very like passionate member of the community. So they're very organized and they've already done all this work. So as far as, doing a project, they would definitely be like more prepared than the average.
I might
community.
get you to put me in touch with them, so
Okay,
that I
yeah.
could you said they have a community action plan already.
Yes, yeah, they have plans. They meet monthly. They are actually very into public safety. There is somebody in that community who was in California. She was a captain on CERT out on the West Coast, and she's been begging us to start something out here that she can lead. Very involved. We're more than likely going to do a full-scale tornado emergency drill with them next summer as well. We're going to do a tabletop this year with them, and then next year full-scale. The entire neighborhood is on board, so they're very involved with public safety and want to help any way they can. Very organized, as Dana said.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Yeah, I might try and get a copy of that community action plan to refer to 2026 update. Yeah.
I can send all that to Anna. She can forward it to you.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Perfect, yeah, sounds good. And then Zach, sorry, one more quick, you said so you have one county shelter that has a generator and you have a second county shelter that is needing one?
Yeah, the extension office out here, they're going to be building a large community center in a fairly open, desolate area where we don't have any county infrastructure. The one county shelter we have is centrally located, but you're going to have to cross over some fairly, if it's a winter thing, or just a devastating storm. We have residents that would have a very hard time of one way to get to the county shelter. So the extension office had reached out wanting to build us another facility, and they asked if we could help with anything funding. I've given them the plans. I've given them the, excuse me, one second. Sorry, it seems like a delegation just rolled into the office. The number one thing is the generator. So I've given them plans for a community shelter with like showers and big enough bathrooms, things like community area for cots. They asked for assistance with the generator. We've dived into all of the funding. We can't do the generator. So to support our next county shelter, just to improve safety, especially in a slightly lower poverty area for residents who may not have a basement, a single story thing, or even a trailer park just south of LaGrange there. That would be a second place for them to go, and to relieve pressure off one of our fire departments who seem to take in a lot of our trailer park residents who need a place to go. This would also be a secondary, if not almost a primary for them to go, but we are lacking the funds for a generator on that building to make it a completely self-sustained building.
Okay, and you said that the proposed location for that second shelter is south of LaGrange?
Yes, yeah, it's in between Ballardsville and LaGrange. It'll be on Highway 22 near Peyton Lane.
Okay.
Yeah, the extension office is going to build it as a secondary office for them and their community operations. We're going to try, they offered it secondary as a shelter, and we're going to take them up on that as a shelter. It's just if we can get a generator, that's going to make it 100% a primary place for sheltering in that area.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, that's, I can definitely add that in as a project, for the 2026 update. I'll probably be reaching out to you to get some more details on, cost and maybe some of the plans, over the next, month or so. So I know I'm probably gonna meet with you again later this month when we meet with, all the county emergency managers, but yeah, between now and then, I can kind of get some more information from you on that. Yeah, is there anybody else with like kind of big low hanging fruit items related to potential FEMA funded projects or anything?
Yeah, I think, so the update for Bullet is we've done a couple of things. One, we're trying to merge our emergency management into all of that EMS, EMA, bringing it under one. Justin is now the overseer, but we still have a director for EMA, and EMS. So we're doing that. One of the things that EMA has done is that there was a group that reached out to them. It's a faith-based group because we don't have shelters. We use high schools and churches. And this is a group that is getting all the churches together so that it's a little more streamlined. I don't know if it's, I haven't gone all the way through this, so I don't know if it's in there, if there's any funding for that. They haven't asked for any funding from the county to do this. And I'm sure that would be something. And generators, of course, is always a big thing. I guess the biggest thing that we've got going is Nichols Elementary School closed this year. And the county is in talks where we will take over that property. There's a park next to it we've already done. Felicia knows a lot about this. She's seen a lot of this stuff. But the elementary school, and it's kind of a weird deal that we've got going here, that we are going to basically lease that out for like $1 a year, because eventually we think that area is going to grow again, and we want to keep the school intact. We don't want to gut it or do anything like that. Right now, what we're doing, we're talking to the health department, we're talking to, of course, emergency management, but it looks like we're gonna make that, because it's a very underserved area, that would be a shelter, storm shelter. You know, we were talking about showers. It's an elementary school. I know there's a gym there. I don't know if they have showers in there is the only thing. But we're looking for any kind of funding, because we're gonna have to keep the lights on, we're gonna have to keep the water on, we're gonna have to do when there's nothing going on there, because as everybody in here knows, you know, we got a flood tomorrow, you know, it seems like it's Bullitt County with or a tornado or a snowstorm. So, you know, I guess we're looking at, are there any opportunities for funding to help re-outfit that building to keep it going, but not to, again, we can't gut it. Because, like I said, in 10 years, I'm now in charge of economic development as well in the county. So I'm looking at how do we develop that for homes and things like that. And I think that's an area that will have to grow as the county grows, because we're running out of space.
Hmm.
So it's gonna have to go that way. When it does, that school's gonna have to reopen
Hmm.
in some form or fashion. Now, is that 10 years, is it 15 years? I have no idea. But that's where we're going. So I guess the funding opportunities they're looking for, as everybody in here generating, we all want generators. But is there funding for this faith-based organization? I know that's kind of a slippery slope sometimes. And then also to work on, to help with Nichols Elementary School. That's
Yeah.
where,
I can definitely say to the elementary school question, so I've reviewed the brick NOFO that FEMA put out late last month, and from what I can tell, it seems like costs for setting up community shelters is an eligible expense for that program, from what I can tell. So I guess tentatively, unless I find something in there that said for here otherwise, it seems to me that that would be a good funding source to apply for, to put a project together for that. But yeah, I can follow up with you on that when I kind of finish reviewing the information they put out. But yeah, that's what it seems at first glance when I looked at it last week. It seems like that's an eligible expense, which is really helpful because I know you know, as Zach and you both just said, it seems like community storm shelters are also another high priority item for a lot of our communities. So, yeah. I'm
well, we've
hoping
been
that-
through so much this year. It's, I mean,
Yeah.
and of course, these things come in waves. We just happened to hit it this year when we had the wave again, in the last couple of years. So I think it's fresh on everybody's minds.
Yeah. Mhm.
I know we talked about this back in the 90s, when we had the big flood in Fort County. Then everything went back to normal.
Yeah. This is a good time to talk about it though. I mean, when it is fresh on everybody's minds though, because you know, I can actually get some specifics and get like a rough cost estimate for some of these things to put some project profiles together. That's for you all to get in here. So yeah, no, it's the timing is good for that at least, but. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, does anybody else have anything sort of along those lines or otherwise for? I don't know, Ryan, if you know anything off the top of your head that's kind of needed out your way.
No, it's not in my head, and I'm sure you'll meet with Chris Spalding, so he'll.
Yeah, I think he's come to our meeting later this month.
Yep.
So. Is there any, other than, some of these specific action items, which I can follow up after this meeting, I'll send you all this Excel spreadsheet that you can work through. That's a little bit easier to parse out than the hard copy. In this, with all this 2021 data, if you all wouldn't mind to just look through the action items in your counties, and if there's anything on there that you know has been addressed or that you're currently working on, or that's still a high priority from that plan 5 years ago. If you'd just like to send me an update on that, that would be really helpful too, because I know FEMA's kind of wondering about getting some implementation updates for what was in the previous iteration of the plan as well. So yeah, we can kind of do it that way. It might be a little bit easier, so that you all have some time to look through this.
Ryan, Lord, I just have one question. On page 1, you reference a survey 123 findings. What does that relate to?
So the 2021 plan was put together by Olivia Rancine, which was a little bit before my time here. They might have been working on some sort of like survey. It looked like they were looking into designing some sort of survey for data collection for something. I'm not exactly sure what they were designing the survey for. So yeah, some of this, depending on how long you've been working in your community, some of this may or may not look familiar. That was one that I am not sure of either, though. It looks like emergency managers, road department and public works staff often use survey 123 to document damage. So it looks like maybe they were looking at trying to use some of that data to inform the 2021 plan update, maybe to provide some more specifics on historical damages from flooding or storms or something. I don't know if, Zach, is that something that you all utilize for in your neck of the woods for
Yes,
anything?
123 is used by the state emergency management. It's all tracked on a state dashboard through the KYEM Emergency Operations Center. That allows every community, every firefighter, emergency manager, whoever, road guys, public works, to document damage. You can upload photos, the damage assessments, address, location, and it's all data. And that they've kept, I think that, I can go back like 10 years on their dashboard, and it just shows every single time somebody has uploaded any sort of damage assessment through Survey 123 to the state. It's a great tool. It really tracks, you plots it on a map. It's, if you're a visual person, you can see it from a bird's eye view on a map on damages. You can click on each link, shows the pictures of those damages, things like that. It's a great tool.
Okay. So my suspicion is that maybe my predecessors who did this plan were looking at maybe trying to access some of that data, maybe to put grant applications together or something. Sometimes that can help, or it does help a lot with grant applications to FEMA to provide as much documentation of historical damages to properties or land. So that may have been what that item was.
It's a great tool, but the problem in small counties where you're on a shoestring budget and you've only got so much help, the guy that's supposed to be punching all that stuff in is got his boots on the ground really working, and that comes up to be a problem for, I just know for us with that.
Yeah, they're not.
I mean, they pushed us to do the 123, but we didn't have enough personnel to do the 123.
Right. You guys aren't thinking about
It's-
documenting, taking
So
pictures of
you keep
everything.
putting bottle washer,
Yeah,
it's hard to get all that done.
yeah, for sure.
Of what Judge said there, he's exactly right. It is kind of manpower dependent, unfortunately. So it's not at all comprehensive assessment. It's just kind of giving people an idea, right? So I, even personally out here, we've missed some stuff. It's just because of manpower. So yeah, Judge nailed it on that one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess, like I said, I can follow up, with you all with this digital spreadsheet, for you all to look through. If you have any other feedback on any of these items, that were identified for your counties, if any that's applicable to, kind of like the work that you do, feel free to let me know. Is there any other, like local plans or, like emergency action plans or anything that you all know of kind of on the planning side that would be good to reference in this stuff, update? I know the last one didn't seem to have a ton of plans on the local side. I know they referenced a lot of other plans from different cities and regions that had really comprehensive plans, but I would like to kind of maybe try to incorporate some more of the local plans that you all or folks that you know have worked on, if possible. Does anybody have anything like that they know of, that you all can send my way, or? I don't know. Okay. Okay, well, yeah, that sounds good. I appreciate you all taking some time to discuss some of this with me. And yeah, like I said, I'll follow up with this and we can kind of my plan is to have a draft in to FEMA / KYEM in late August or September. So between now and then, I guess we'll have one more regional planning council between now and then too. So if anything else comes up, we can address that later. But yeah, I appreciate y'all's time on that, and let me know if there's anything else in the meantime that you think of project wise, if you would like me to put this in here. Also, Brian, I know you all are kind of on a separate hazard mitigation plan there in Metro. But I know some of our, especially like with our utilities like MSD and Louisville Water that kind of operate outside the boundaries of Jefferson County. If there's anything that you can think of on your end from the planning side, do you think might be beneficial to include for a regional plan on KIPTA's side? We can discuss that as well.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. And I can, we have like an interagency meeting on Wednesdays. I can mention that during that meeting and be like, hey, you know, just FYI, if you operate outside the county, KIPTA may want to be talking to you about this.
Sure, yeah. I know, is Jody Mynan still your all's EM director there in Metro?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll probably bounce some things off him as well. But yeah, if you have anything that you'd like to add in at the regional level, feel free to reach out after that meeting. So
All right,
I think that's everything that I have for now.
all right, thank you, Ryan. Next item on the agenda is the county quarterly updates. And Anna, you wanna go first? For Oldham County?
Yeah, well, we're working on a lot of different ordinance updates, some state mandated, some self-inflicted, I guess. So for the state mandated, we're updating our manufactured home ordinance since it has to be updated by July 1. So we're working on that. We're working on some just minor updates to our short-term rental ordinance. Our data center ordinance, since fiscal court voted that down, we have to try again. And then so yeah, that's kind of what's going on in Oldham County. Big picture, we're hoping to update our sign ordinance later this year. We will see.
All right, thank you. Keith, you got anything from Bolt?
Yeah, the comprehensive plan should be, we're close. I keep looking at Felicia because she's close to these meetings as well. I was hoping that it would already be done, but I think we're very, very close to having that done and in the budget. And I think they've done the bulk of the work that was done has been really, really positive and really good. So that'll change a lot of things for the county.
All right, thank you. Judge, Henry County?
I'll let Jason go first.
Well, I gotta get with Felicia on our comprehensive plan also. Our goals and objectives have been approved by all the cities in the county now, which some changes from what it was, so I gotta get with you. Very minor, very minor. We still have to do future land use map in one portion of the county.
Okay,
Or normally we just do it in the cities, but at the interstate at Pendleton, we gotta do that still, but they wanted to have the goals and objectives completely done before they did that, so we should be close now, but I've been saying that for 2 years, so no joke, but I don't know, I feel like we're kind of busy. We didn't have a commission meeting last month, but we've got, I don't even know, but several things coming for the next ones. Pretty decent sized project for us for sure coming up. So yeah.
Yeah, he's talking about the Pendleton district, that's kind of a touchy subject as far as where we go with that. The people's moved there from Louisville, they don't want it to ever change. And I mean, you moved on an interstate exchange, how do you think it'll ever change? So we got a little issue with some of that, and some of them moved out of Oldham County, but they thought they was gonna be the last one in there, and then everybody else moved out. So you deal with that kind of stuff. And then the one project at Campbellsburg, I mean, that's looking pretty promising. It's 2 big buildings. The same company that put in there across from Cattleman's over there. And they say that will probably be, they're saying on the high end of $200 million investment. You think about our total worth is 1.1 billion. So they're about 16% of our total tax net worth, so, I mean, it would be a game changer for Henry County if it does happen. And I mean, it's, 30 seconds off the interstate, it's a farm, yes, but it's 30 seconds off the interstate, where do you want development? In my opinion, except the interstate exchanges and, around the cities, so
Come Shelby County.
I think it'll be good. I guess they've already put their application in.
They have, so, yeah, so we're still working on that. We might have to have a special meeting for them because just the date conflict, but we're gonna do a special meeting.
How about Bucky's?
Still working, we're still checking all the boxes. They hadn't turned us down yet.
Okay, that's a positive.
We haven't. You don't wanna,
I live in Shelby County and I agree, I'm like, and I lived in Texas for a few years. The Bucky should be in Henry.
y'all can just come up there and get your brisket.
Yeah, Watchings.
Anything else?
That's all I got.
All right, Brian, Metro?
A couple things, just waiting to see what Frankfurt bestows upon us, here in the next couple days. So, should be interesting to see, especially if Senate Bill 9 passes with all the additions that they threw in there last minute. So waiting to see what happens there. We have actually started, we had our official, internal kickoff for our Metro Land Development Code rewrite. Very excited about that. This is a project that came out of the pro housing grant that we got from HUD last year. We had last fall we had put out an RFP and wound up choosing LRK Consulting out of Memphis to head up that work. So really excited to finally get that project underway. Looking at about a 2 or 3 year project there. So it should drive me out to retirement. And then yeah, just looking forward to getting that done and kind of streamlining the beast that is the Louisville Metro Land Development Code there. We've mentioned the D word, data centers. We've still not released our draft for the data center regulations that we've been working on. Probably looking at a post Derby release on that. A little busy around here right now, and so if you are interested in someone who did approve some, so Mason, I think it's Mason County. Did approve, Mason County Fiscal Court approved theirs, and they currently have a development for a 2,000 acre development, data center development that they are reviewing. So check out Monster out if you're interested to see what other people are looking at in terms of data center developments. We are also looking at hopefully releasing our neighborhood housing package in the next couple of weeks. This will be the package that we've been working on for a couple of years, but we've kind of gained some momentum, and I think the housing task force that the state had kind of supported a lot of the things that we were wanting to do here in Jefferson County. Maybe they did not fly as far as like statewide initiatives like they were thinking, but I think here in Jefferson County. We have a lot of the things that the task force had recommended in this latest draft. So hoping to get that published soon, so that we can begin moving forward with the adoption process, hopefully to allow more residential opportunities along our major corridors in our traditional areas and within new developments. And so again, hoping to get that out soon. I think that's all I got. So thank you all.
And thanks, Brian. I'll go last. Shelby County Fiscal Court released an RFP for a comprehensive plan, so we'll see where that goes here in the next month or so if they get any proposals. Shelbyville's still thinking about that, and the mayor's kind of playing his game with when to do that or not to do that based on election and all that. So those are the games we got going on with some of that. Simpsonville adopted their new zoning code over a year ago. And so we've been working with that new code. And of course, as you go through new codes, you find situations that you weren't expecting. So we've got a couple items we need to address in their code to get it complete, but we're gonna send those comments to the city commission and let them decide if they want to move forward with any changes. I think that's all I've got for now. You know, I could probably talk for the rest of the day, but anyways, that's what we got going, that are on our table at this point and that we're moving forward with, so. I'll report back at the next meeting that we have to let you know where we're at, so. Is there any other comments for county updates? All right, hearing none, we'll move on. Announcements from KIPTA staff. Who wants to go first? Brian?
I think you all heard me talking up to that. Anybody else?
Can you, since Lawrence is retired and he's on the RPC, can you, get someone
Yep,
to replace him?
Deputy King, I'll tell the judge.
Okay. I don't know whose appointee he was, planning commission or the judges.
Or he's judge.
He was the judge, okay.
Yeah.
He's reporting somebody else.
I will let him know. Hopefully you'll have that for the next meeting. So does any of the KIPTA staff have anything they want to bring up? Doesn't sound like, all right,
September 15th is what we planned on Brian and Brian coming to do
Okay.
for the planning commission.
what day was that?
September 15th.
Okay.
Is that correct, Brian?
Yes, that's what I have down. Yes.
September 15th.
They did a great training. I think it was in like fall of 2024. It was
Yeah.
really good.
Yes. So it should be about 2 years. So
Okay.
we'll do a full day of that again. So just, there'll be a email from me or Ryan with the registration.
And do y'all do like a newly elected officials training?
We do.
Okay. Obviously, like the timeline of
Hmm,
Yes,
stuff.
we will.
Right, it's not time yet, but I was just curious.
Yeah, Jared will lead that for us.
We'll probably do that in January.
all right. Okay. Next item on the agenda was not meant to be on there. The next item is the public comment period. Is there anybody from the public at this time that would like to address the council? Seeing none and hearing none, public comment period is closed. Is there any other comments or things to bring before the council by the members? If not, then our next item on the agenda is a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Second. Motion and a second, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good job, Ryan.
You done by noon.
Is the next meeting July or August?
Next one.
July.
Okay. So I will be missing that meeting, just FYI, because I'll be on maternity.
Yeah, when is that?
I just saw that, yeah. I just saw
What day is it? I might be in Italy.